When you check out at the pharmacy, you see the journey from idea to medicine, thanks to our intellectual property system, or IP for short. IP safeguards inventions, like a new way to prevent seizures or lower cholesterol. And IP supports competition from other brands, then lower-cost generics, which are 90% of prescriptions filled in the U.S. Innovation, competition, lower costs, thanks to IP. Learn more at phrma.org/IP works wonders.
Work creeping into your personal time? Billy products can turn your daily shower into a digital detox. Nourishing body wash can refresh your skin while you mentally refresh your resume. A full body shave with Billy's award-winning razor will help you visualize things going smoother tomorrow. And quick absorbing body lotion can hydrate faster than you can say, let's circle back on Monday. You've got your reasons. Billy's got your routine. Shop in store and at mybilly.com.
Hey, I'm Candice Lim.
And I'm Kate Lindsay, and you're listening to ICYMI.
In case you missed it.
Slate's podcast about internet culture. And Candice, it is so great to have you back on the other side of my Zoom screen. How was your week off?
It's good to be back. It was really good to also be off. I traveled to the faraway mystical land of San Francisco. Heard of it?
I've heard. I think that's where the Cybertrucks are.
Yeah. Had amazing tacos. Brought some home on the plane. Overall, relaxing time. I will say, though, I have come back a changed person because, Kate, I'm a Waymo influencer now.
Which is, I guess I can just be thankful you haven't become a Cybertruck person or a Tesla person, but Waymo, it feels like right below it.
It is. So I know Waymo because I've seen like so many TikToks of these self-driving cars. They're like white and they have huge cameras on the front, left and center. It's a little bit Skibbity Toilet-esque, but they're basically Uber without the Uber driver. Have you like seen them out in your life?
No, I've seen this and I only ever see it on the West Coast. To my knowledge, they are not in New York. We just are figuring out congestion pricing. We cannot throw in these unmanned vehicles, but I mean, I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure the Waymos are coming over here as we speak.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I was a skeptic. I was a hater, but have you seen this TikTok of like this parking lot in San Francisco with a bunch of Waymos that are being like loud and noisy and they're just like causing chaos?
Yeah, I've seen them only in the context of them all getting confused, and I apply like little personalities to them and I'm like, they're lost.
I know. And I have some great news, which is that I went to the site of said parking lot in the TikTok. It was a national landmark, not nightmare to me.
Yeah, they're going to put a plaque there. Be like, Waymos got lost here.
And I took it one step further because I took not one, but two Waymos during my trip.
God. Well, what was it like? Because I feel like I would get in and I'd go, for Kate, and then I'd realize like no one's there. Like, you know how you're always supposed to confirm?
Yeah.
How do you confirm?
Yeah. So I would say that the first time you walk into a Waymo, they know you're like a new user. So you like go in there. Obviously, no one in the front driver's seat, but there is this kind of like screen in front of you in the back seat. And I have to say, this is probably the most fun part. I felt like a kid in a Tesla waiting for my mommy to like go get the food because like you click things that are like, have you buckled in? And do you want to play music? And do you want to skip this song? And so to me, I was almost distracted by the dystopia of it.
Yeah.
And I was just having so much fun on my little iPad. And I'm not going to lie, it was kind of nice to not only have to deal with the question, is my Uber driver going to talk to me? The answer is no, there is no driver. But the second thing is I get to choose the music, which is actually like a huge concern I have about Uber, which is that like I don't like when they choose the music for me. I'm like, excuse me, why are you playing Taylor Swift? Why do you think I like Taylor Swift? I do, but how dare you, you know?
I just don't like that I get rated on Uber.
I know.
I don't need all these constant metrics of myself.
Yeah.
But when I think about Waymo, it's like you'll get me like a little bit. I'm like, oh, that sounds nice. But then I think about the concept of a Waymo having to drive on a bridge, and I could not do that. I get so freaked out when a person is driving me on a bridge or when I'm driving on a bridge. The idea of I don't think I could do it. I think I'd have a panic attack.
I mean, don't even talk to me about freeways, right?
Because does it merge?
I mean, here's the thing. I was hanging out in San Francisco, but I was flying out of Oakland Airport. The reason I did not take a Waymo from hotel to airport is because I was just kind of like, I don't even want to imagine the idea of me being stuck on a Waymo on the freeway. And I don't know, like, we have an Alcatraz, we don't need a second one. And so
And also, I know we're really staying on this Waymo thing more than I thought we were going to, but airports specifically, when they drop you off, there's, like, so much navigating, like, where does the car pull? I just don't, I'm not ready to trust a machine with that level of, like, delicacy yet.
Exactly. And I don't know if this makes things better or worse, you tell me. So I know that stepping out of a Waymo, to me, felt like a shameful experience. I just didn't want people to know.
Like a walk of shame.
It really did. And I didn't want people to know. And so the second the Waymo stopped at my stop, I literally ran out and ran. But what's funny is one time I ran and I hit something. And when I say something, I hit an influencer who had a tripod up that was filming content at this site, and it just got me so mad, not only because they did catch me stepping out of a Waymo, which is a shameful object, but also, like, they didn't even ask me for my consent to be in the video.
Wait, yeah, so do you think you're in it? Is you hitting them in it? Are you going to go viral?
I mean, if God is real, I will not make the cap cut. Yeah. However, it could also become like, LOL, crazy person hit me while making content. And it's just like, I don't need this right now.
Yeah. Well, my weekend was different, but actually similar in one way. I spent most of the weekend, my husband's been out of town, so I've just been enjoying my God-given right to rot. Mm-hmm. But I finally emerged on a Sunday afternoon to go to my book club, and I was emerging after like 28 hours without human contact.
Gorgeous.
I was just eating the same pizza order from Friday throughout the weekend. Like, I was a mole rat emerging. But I thought on my way to book club, I would stop by this store called Bon Bon to pick up some treats. It's basically a Swedish candy shop. I learned about it from TikTok. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised that when I was walking into Bon Bon, I realized I was behind a woman who had someone who maybe was her boyfriend or her assistant filming her with a classic vlogging camera. Oh. And I just immediately, my blood went cold because, you know, it was busy in the Bon Bon. And then we add a live recording camera into the mix. And then it's like me, once again, haven't spoken to anyone all weekend. And it's like, why now when I leave the house do I have to be aware that I'm going to end up in content? Like, let me be a little mole rat in peace. So I just kind of was like, it added this layer of surveillance to my Bon Bon trip, which I won't say is shameful, but it was like me and a bunch of kids fighting for the licorice.
Yeah. I have to imagine this is like how celebrities feel when TMZ pulls up on them in the arrivals terminal and they start asking them either about their exes or about politics. And you're just kind of like that is my worst fear, right? To come out of an airplane, which I'm already at my lowest low, and to be bombarded with questions. But now it's like happening more and more where at any point I could see a camera filming me. And I'm not even in the foreground. I am in the background. And it's like, I didn't ask for this.
Riding into the sunset in my Waymo.
Yeah.
But it's interesting we both had these experiences kind of on the same weekend because online I saw this exchange between the Instagram account Influencers in the Wild and Switzerland as a whole. There's obviously a whole lot more to that. But this tussle, plus our own discomfort with like being in the background of other people's content, it's made me wonder if an account like this is even relevant in a more like normalized influencer world. But before I get there, let's take a break. After the break, we'll get into how Influencers in the Wild maybe allegedly infringed on a Swiss law, and later, whether those of us in the background of creators' content have any right to privacy in 2025.
Maybe you like keeping your money where you can see it. Unfortunately, big wireless carriers like keeping your money too. If you're fed up with crazy high bills, bogus fees, and quote-unquote free perks that cost more in the long run, switch to Mint Mobile. I have been on Mint Mobile's unlimited plan, and I really, really like it as a product and service. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you with premium wireless plans starting at $15 a month. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone and bring your number along with your contacts. Ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of premium wireless service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. If you like your money, Mint Mobile is for you. Shop plans at mintmobile.com/ICYMI. That's mintmobile.com/ICYMI. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 month, 5 gigabyte plan required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customer offer for first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Oh, ICYMI listeners, do I have a scoop for you? So what is it, you ask? It's that Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Now, before anyone goes suggesting that this is just a rumor, know that there's actual proof that this kettle of tea is not only piping hot, but 100% true. So, yeah, sometimes it pays to be a little nosy, but it always pays to discover. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/creditcard. And we're back. Now, Candice, this was a surprise to me because you weren't aware of influencers in the wild until we started prepping for this episode. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't know if I dodged a bullet, but I've just never interacted with this account, and so I'm so curious about it.
Yeah, I was the reverse in a way. I couldn't believe they were still going. According to Instagram, the account was created sometime in 2019. The person behind it is someone who calls himself Tank Sinatra.
Okay.
And the whole point was to kind of show how the curated, aesthetically pleasing pictures that influencers posted on Instagram were, in reality, pretty unglamorous to capture in practice.
Oh, like the whole influencers versus reality thing.
Exactly. But that kind of evolved somewhere, somehow, into this larger thesis of now we're at influencers are stupid and embarrassing. Look at these pictures and videos of them making content. Like, they're self-absorbed, they're vapid. Mm-hmm. But I guess if you think about 2019, that was a different era of the internet.
Yeah, it was pre-lockdown, which means it was everyone getting on TikTok.
Yeah, and before TikTok made it so accessible, I guess creating any kind of public-facing content, in 2019, that was pretty much, if you were doing that, you were probably already an influencer or you were trying to be. That was what it was for. You didn't really see regular people filming themselves. And so you could safely assume that if you saw someone filming themselves in public, they were doing it to then post it and maybe make money. I guess what I'm really saying is whether or not you agree with the account's disdain for influencers, at least in 2019, you could kind of argue that it was punching up in a way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so the account blows up doing what exactly?
Yeah. So basically, it would crowdsource and post submissions that had been sent in by its followers. And they would send in pictures or videos of quote unquote influencers that they saw out in the world making content. And so, it'd be someone posing or someone making, their boyfriend take a ton of pictures of them or whatever. And it would always come with some kind of snarky caption. And people ate it up. The account still has over 5 million followers. And in 2023, plot twist kind of, Tank Sinatra went on Shark Tank with an Influencers in the Wild board game.
Okay. I have 2 thoughts. First, I'm dying to know how someone turned an Instagram account into a board game, but second, should we play the board game for a Slate Plus episode?
Both good questions, and I actually can answer them by reading you this review I found. It was a 1-star review on Google.
Great.
It says, fair warning to all who want to play this. Gameplay is equivalent to Candyland or Game of Life. You just roll a die, move spaces, draw a card, and perform the action. We were bored out of our minds a few turns in. We also weren't too thrilled at how many of the cards asked for us to post on our social media with their hashtag promoting their game. We didn't even end up finishing one round because it was just tedious and monotonous. So, I don't think you really want to play the game. And I would also not be offering this account up any content I take. I don't know what they're going to do with it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm surprised he even made it to Shark Tank because, Shark Tank, they usually like cut people in many rounds. And you could have an amazing product, but if you don't have like the personality, if you're not like TV worthy, they kind of just like don't keep you in the edit. So the fact that he made it all the way.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something to be learned.
Yeah, I believe he got no one was
Oh,
in.
no buyers.
Yeah, no buyers. So, but the game still exists. And also we should just note here that Influencers in the Wild, even though like that's what we're talking about right now, it's not the only account like this. It's actually kind of part of this larger 2010s trend of Instagram accounts that were made up of crowdsourced content. I mean, Dumois is the most famous one, and they're obviously still going. But I know one was called Shit Bloggers Post. Subway Creatures is another current one. A really old one on Instagram was just called You Didn't Eat That. And it would be just like, usually that like a skinny woman posted with food. And then the whole point was like, you didn't eat that or whatever.
Yeah.
Different episode.
Yeah.
But Reddit still has a lot of these, like r/Instagram reality or r/I'm the main character. All of these accounts are kind of either focused on tearing down influencers specifically, or at least that's the vibe I'm getting, or posting people without their consent, or both. Mm-hmm. I'm clearly a little skeptical of accounts like these, but part of that is definitely informed by a very specific post that Influencers in the Wild made a week or so ago.
Yeah. On March 11th, the account shared a screenshot of an email from Glacier Express, which is a train through the Alps, requesting they remove a video that features one of their employees being filmed and posted without consent. Specifically, they cite Article 28 of the Swiss Civil Code, which dictates that individuals have the right to their own image.
Yeah, and I did a just brief search of the Instagram to see if I could find the post in question. I couldn't see any that like definitely fit this description, at least in the past few months. Maybe it was posted earlier. It's possible that means they did end up actually removing it, which would be surprising because in the Instagram caption that's below the screenshot they posted, they seem pretty defiant. This is what Influencers in the Wild wrote. So here's how it works in America. In America, we like to poke a little fun at and maybe shame people who create artificial situations that make them look rich and powerful. We do this because these individuals fabricate these situations in an attempt to make those who are not rich and powerful feel bad and shame. Hope this helps.
The statement is so messy, and I would argue also not correct.
I know. Who's we?
Yeah, who's we, number one? Two, whenever someone tells you, hope this helps.
Oh, yeah. No.
No.
That is from scrolling TikTok. That is how you would get that in your Rolodex of terms. So
exactly.
And look, I should say we did reach out to Influencers in the Wild and Tank Sinatra's representatives for comment. At the time of this recording, they have not responded, but the fact that Influencers in the Wild sees itself as like accomplishing some kind of righteous vigilante justice with these posts, and again, I guess I could buy it in 2019, but Candice, I ask you this. Scroll through the past even year of Influencers in the Wild.
Yeah.
Do you see a single influencer you recognize?
Look, I can't claim to know every influencer in the world, but I did just do a quick scroll of this Instagram account. No, I did not recognize anyone they tried to call out or mention.
Right. It's Influencers in the Wild, but I don't think I've ever seen anyone I follow or that I know other people follow. And that is where my beef with this account and accounts like this lies. Like, whatever Influencers in the Wild and these other kind of influencer bashing accounts' initial goals were, they've morphed into accounts that, to me, essentially just bully strangers who aren't hurting anybody. I want to talk about how we got here, but first, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll explain why I think accounts like Influencers in the Wild contribute to a troubling self-surveillance culture and what rights any of us have if we end up in someone's vlog or the subject of a snarky Instagram post.
Hey there. If you love our podcast, then maybe you should consider subscribing to Slate Plus to immediately unlock bonus episodes. Plus, you'll access ad-free listening across all your favorite Slate podcasts, including bi-weekly bonus episodes of this show. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts by clicking Try Free at the top of our show page. Or visit slate.com/ICYMI Plus to get access wherever you listen. Listen to Sunrise on the Reaping, the highly anticipated new audiobook in the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins on Audible. Hear Jefferson White narrate the story of the legendary survivor, young Haymitch Abernathy. Revisit the world of Panem, 24 years before the original Hunger Games series. As the day dawns on the 50th annual Hunger Games, fear grips the districts of Panem. This year, in honor of the Quarter Quell, twice as many tributes will be taken from their homes. I'm so excited for this story because I've been a big Hunger Games fan since the first trilogy came out. I remember being in middle school, absolutely staying up all night to get through the trilogy. And this relationship has stuck with me through adulthood, and it's going to continue with the Sunrise on the Reaping because I will take any excuse to dive back into the world of Panem. Whether you're a passionate fan or just starting your journey, venture to District 12 and hear the story the world's been waiting for. Welcome to the 50th Hunger Games. Experience the worldwide best-selling series in a whole new way. Go to audible.com/sunrise and listen with the world. This episode is brought to you by Saks Fifth Avenue. Shopping at Saks is the perfect way to discover the latest styles, elevate your everyday look, and refresh your wardrobe just in time for spring. At Saks, you'll find inspiration for every occasion, from casual outfits to special events. My favorite thing to do in my off time is to go online shopping, and I cannot recommend the Saks.com experience enough. They have so many of my wishlist brands on the website, from Amina Muaddi shoes to Alice and Olivia dresses, and it's spring, which means wedding season is starting up. Saks inspires me to discover looks for anything and everything on my agenda, from destination wedding dresses to shoes that can last the whole weekend. Whether you're refreshing your entire wardrobe or shopping for a vacation, Saks makes it fun and easy. So, if you're looking for a fun, effortless shopping experience and want to elevate your personal style, head to Saks. That's Saks.com for everyday inspiration. This episode is brought to you by Saks Fifth Avenue. Shopping at Saks is the perfect way to discover the latest styles, elevate your everyday look, and refresh your wardrobe just in time for spring. At Saks, you'll find inspiration for every occasion, from casual outfits to special events. My favorite thing to do in my off time is to go online shopping, and I cannot recommend the Saks.com experience enough. They have so many of my wishlist brands on the website, from Amina Muaddi shoes to Alice and Olivia dresses, and it's spring, which means wedding season is starting up. Saks inspires me to discover looks for anything and everything on my agenda, from destination wedding dresses to shoes that can last the whole weekend. Whether you're refreshing your entire wardrobe or shopping for a vacation, Saks makes it fun and easy. So, if you're looking for a fun, effortless shopping experience and want to elevate your personal style, head to Saks. That's Saks.com for everyday inspiration. And we're back. Kate, I was thinking about how you and I had near misses with being in other people's content over the weekend. And I was curious, have you ever actually seen yourself in someone else's video?
No, but twice I have seen ex-boyfriends or ex-flings in the background. That's weird. And, you know, not me, but I know a friend of a friend. I think someone sent it to him, but he caught himself. He was just sitting on the subway in the background of someone who was making a TikTok on the subway. And it made its way to him, and he posted on Instagram with the caption was like, "Now why am I? Why am I in it?"
Which is such a good question. Like, why is he in it? And also, would he have any right to, like, get them to take down the video?
So in Switzerland, it seems like perhaps yes. The civil code that's cited in that email shared by influencers in the wild, I looked up specifically what it is. So it says, any person whose personality rights are unlawfully infringed may petition the court for protection against all those causing the infringement. And then an infringement is unlawful unless it is justified by the consent of the person whose rights are infringed, or by an overriding private or public interest, or by law.
Or in layman's terms, people in Switzerland have control over whether and in what context images of him or her are published.
Yeah. Basically exactly what they're kind of trying to get across in that email. Unless there is an overriding, quote, private or public interest or by law. And that public interest part is, I think, how a lot of accounts like these feel comfortable posting these images, that these people are influencers and therefore there's a public interest in them, or they already are living life publicly. But Candice, as we established, they don't seem to really be posting influencers anymore.
Yeah. If you poke around, it looks like it's just anyone filming themselves, which in 2025 is probably just a regular person.
Yeah. And in 2025, it is wild to me to still be operating on this baseline assumption that anyone who wants to take a picture or video of themselves and share it, that they somehow represent the absolute worst of humanity. And I feel like just by slapping the word influencer onto them, it gives people justification to sort of target them in a way that in any other scenario would just be like harsh and mean. And I guess you could argue that these people, even if they're not influencers, they're already posting themselves. But we don't actually know. If we see someone filming themselves or taking a picture, we don't know what they're going to do with that. It could just go to their family. It could stay on their phone. But even if they are posting it publicly, it brings me back to something Kristen Meinzer said when we had her on. You cannot violate your own privacy. Other people can. So I just can't really square that justification if that is what they're leaning on.
Yeah. Like imagine you're filming a fit check and then out of nowhere, 5 million people are watching a video someone filmed of you without your consent.
Yeah, I don't even want to see like a video of the back of my head. Like what that looks like is none of my business. I don't need to like then have everyone commenting on it.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing about sort of any anti-influencer, anti-main character quote accounts, which is that when I look at it, it's women. It's women and gay men who are the most popular targets of the attacks. Most of the videos and pictures are of women having the audacity to take a picture of themselves and think they're hot or behave in a way that's like, yeah, I'm sexy in this picture. Most of the videos I see show these women in like minimal clothing, and the comment sections then are filled with like STD and rape jokes because, again, how dare this woman put herself out there in this way?
Yeah.
And, you know, when a post features a seemingly gay man, that becomes part of the joke too. But you want to know why I'm most disappointed in this?
Because we're always right.
Not only that, but the fact that the person behind Influencers in the Wild, at least, is a content creator. He films sketches and other humor videos on his personal account, so he knows the work that goes into this and the behind-the-scenes labor it requires. But that doesn't seem to, like, inform any kind of empathy. Like, sure, it's a joke, but it's still taking strangers, often marginalized ones, and then putting them on display to millions of people for kind of the express purpose of ridiculing them. And I know I'm like really on a soapbox here, but I have lots of feelings about this because also let's not forget that if you are someone who is coming across Influencers in the Wild posts, if you are looking at main character submissions on Reddit, it means you are scrolling social media. And if you are scrolling social media, it means you are consuming the fruits of the labor of the people these kind of accounts are mocking. And I guess I just don't like the idea of someone spending hours consuming their content for free and then turning around and calling them vapid or useless or whatever because, you know, you looked at how it was made and that made you uncomfortable in some way, or maybe, I don't know, made you realize that what you're watching, all reality, is maybe kind of silly. I mean, that's true for these influencer watching accounts in general. You are not exempt if you're a consumer. You have not opted out of anything. I'm very much channeling that Meryl Streep monologue in The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah, and let's say you end up on Influencers in the Wild, or you end up in that woman's vlog at Bon Bon. Can you get it taken down? I'm talking about the United States now, because I know Switzerland has rules.
So in the U.S., we have a similar right of publicity, but for the most part, it's most likely to hold up sort of in cases of commercialization or defamation. I mean, in the case of Influencers in the Wild, maybe you could argue you were being defamed if you were posted on that account. I genuinely don't know. But just in general, if you see yourself in the background of someone's video, you don't have a lot of options.
Mm-hmm. And what if I'm explicitly like, I do not consent. Don't film me.
Well, the right thing for a person to do would be to, you know, hear that and cut you out of it. But I guess technically in the U.S., our right to privacy is waived in certain situations, one of which is being in a public place like a city park or a parking lot.
The Waymo's right to privacy.
My
in the
God,
parking
yes.
lot.
Wow,
He has none.
makes me think about that video so differently.
I know, right? Yeah. And I don't know. It just feels like the laws were written before we knew how prevalent smartphones and filming would become, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we're like so far behind and the consequences just keep getting worse. And also before we knew anything about influencing, that's another thing, because In the US, you do have a right to your image when it comes to commercial use. So like someone couldn't just use your likeness to advertise something without your consent. But marketing and advertising, whether it be, you know, themselves or a product or the place they're at, that's a huge part of an influencer's job. Like, I don't know, this is like a genuine question. Could you claim your image was being used commercially if you appear in a vlog that's sponsored by like Fresh Direct?
That is a good question. And we need a lawyer to answer that. And I also need one for myself because I don't like living in a world where essentially going outside means I've like unknowingly consented to being in anyone's content.
Yeah, or minding your own business and then waking up to see you've been posted on an account that's all about making fun of you.
Honestly, this only reaffirms my mantra. Just stay home. Maybe no more bonbons and Waymos for us, Kate.
That's not a world I want to live in.
Okay, that's the show. We'll be back in your feed on Saturday, so definitely subscribe. That way, you never miss an episode. Leave us a rating and a review in Apple or Spotify, and tell your friends about us. You can follow us on Twitter at ICYMI_pod, and you can always drop us a note at ICYMI@slate.com.
ICYMI is produced by Olivia Briley, Candice Lim, and me, Kate Lindsay. Daisy Rosario is our senior supervising producer, and Hillary Fry is Slate's editor-in-chief. See you online.
Or hawking the future ICYMI board game on Shark Tank.